Anger is the fire that burns the hand before it ever touches the enemy. It feels righteous, powerful, like fuel. But left unchecked, it consumes the man who carries it. Every outburst, every slammed door, every bitter silence leaves ash where strength should have been. The truth is brutal. Anger doesn't make you strong. It exposes how little control you have over yourself. The weak man blames the world for his frustration. The strong man bends the world by mastering his reaction to it. Seneca once wrote, "Anger is like falling into madness." And that's exactly what it is. Temporary insanity disguised as passion. The Stoics knew that if you can't control your emotions, you can't control your life. Because every moment you surrender to rage, you hand over your freedom to someone else's words, someone else's actions, someone else's power. So this isn't about suppressing anger. It's about transmuting it, forging it into clarity, into calm, into an unshakable will. You want control? Earn it. You want peace? Discipline your mind first. Because until you master your anger, you will always be ruled by it. Control your anger, or it will control you. There's a man sitting in traffic. His jaw is clenched, his grip on the steering wheel white-knuckled. Someone cuts him off, and his chest floods with heat. It's not just the car. It's everything. The disrespect at work, the argument with his wife, the constant sense that the world is pushing him, testing him, humiliating him. He used to tell himself he was just passionate. That anger meant he cared, but over time, it started owning him. Every insult echoed for days. Every setback became a personal attack. The rage began to rot his focus, his relationships, his peace, until one day it broke him. He exploded at someone who didn't deserve it, and saw the look in their eyes. Fear, disappointment, the reflection of what he'd become. That night, he sat in silence, no screens, no music, no noise, and faced the truth. Anger had become his master. He wasn't fighting injustice, he was feeding his ego, and his ego was starving him of peace. So he began again, slowly. When irritation rose, he didn't react. He observed. When provoked, he didn't answer. He breathed. He discovered something the Stoics had known for centuries, that calm isn't weakness. It's the highest form of strength. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The best revenge is not to be like your enemy." That night, he understood. The world doesn't need to change for you to find peace. You do. Anger is not power. It is proof that you have lost control. The Stoics understood this long before modern psychology gave it a name. They knew that emotion, especially rage, is simply a misalignment between what we expect and what reality delivers. Seneca wrote, "We are more often frightened than hurt, and we suffer more in imagination than in reality." Anger is the child of illusion, the belief that life should be fair, that others should act as we think they should, that the world should bend to our sense of justice. When it doesn't, we erupt. But Marcus Aurelius dismantled that illusion with brutal simplicity. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. To the Stoics, the battlefield was never external. It was internal, between your impulses and your reason, your reactions and your restraint. Here is the truth most men refuse to face. Anger feels good because it gives us the illusion of control. But it's a counterfeit strength, reactive, impulsive, fleeting. The man who controls his rage controls nothing. The man who controls himself controls everything. Epictetus taught that when someone offends you, you must remember, they are not attacking you but their perception of you. Their insult reveals their own weakness, not yours. Why then would you let their ignorance become your torment? To be stoic is not to suppress emotion, it is to master its energy, to channel the heat of anger into the forge of discipline. The Stoic does not seek to eliminate his humanity, he seeks to refine it. Imagine your mind as a fortress. Every insult, every provocation is an arrow aimed at your gate. If you open the doors in rage, the enemy walks in freely. But if you remain still, unmoved, the arrows fall harmlessly at your feet. That's the Stoic advantage. While others are slaves to their impulses, you become untouchable. Calm becomes your armor, logic, your weapon, and silence, your victory. Because when you master your inner state, the world loses its power to control you. And that, the Stoics knew, is the only victory that matters. Stop being a victim of your emotions. Stop being a slave to every provocation. Anger is not strength. It's a signal that you've lost command of yourself. You want to master it? Then build discipline like a soldier preparing for psychological war. Here are 5 Stoic habits that will make your anger kneel. 1. The pause. Rule the first impulse. The first surge of anger is pure instinct, animal, unfiltered, blind. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The nearer a man comes to a calm mind, the closer he is to strength. When provoked, pause, breathe. Let the first wave crash without moving. The moment you pause, you break the chain of reaction. You regain command. This is not weakness. This is your first strike of control." 2. Reframe the offense. See the source, not the symptom. Ask, why does this anger me? Most of the time, it's not the insult itself. It's your ego demanding recognition. The Stoics practiced cognitive reframing centuries before psychology named it. Instead of reacting, reinterpret. The person offending you acts from ignorance, fear, or confusion. Don't take it personally. Take it as a test. 3. Train in discomfort. Voluntary hardship builds immunity. Seneca trained himself to endure hunger, cold, and humiliation, to remove the sting from life's unfairness. When you deliberately expose yourself to discomfort, anger loses its grip. You stop expecting comfort and therefore stop raging when you don't get it. The modern man wants peace without pain. The Stoic earns peace through pain. 4. Speak less. Observe more. Words are weapons. Every argument, every explosion, every sarcastic jab is a leak in your fortress. The Stoic knows silence is not passivity. It's precision. Say nothing until your emotions serve your logic. The moment you speak in anger, you surrender power. Let others burn themselves out while you remain a mirror, reflecting, not reacting. 5. Transmute the fire. Turn emotion into energy. Anger is raw power. Misused, it destroys. Controlled, it creates. The Stoics didn't deny emotion. They redirected it. Use that energy to train harder, focus deeper, execute cleaner. Let your discipline be your revenge. Epictetus said, "Difficulties show what men are." Use every insult as iron to sharpen your mind. Control of anger isn't spiritual fluff. It's psychological warfare. It's learning to turn chaos into command, emotion into execution. Every time you win a battle within, the outside world bows in return. You were not born to be controlled by emotion. You were born to command it. Every time you explode in anger, you hand your enemy the keys to your mind. Every outburst, every reaction, every impulsive word, it all confirms one truth. They own you. But that ends now. The Stoics didn't talk about peace because life was peaceful. They talked about discipline amid chaos. They lived in empires of betrayal, war, and death, and yet they mastered stillness. Why? Because they understood one unbreakable law. The man who controls himself controls his world. You want power? Then stop chasing domination of others. Start mastering the battlefield within. Anger will visit you every day, through disrespect, rejection, delays, lies, injustice. Each moment is a test from life itself asking, will you rule yourself or be ruled? The world doesn't need another man who rages. It needs a man who remains calm when everything burns, the kind of man whose silence is louder than their noise. So here's your challenge. The next time anger rises, don't explode. Don't explain, don't defend, pause, breathe, smile. You've seen this trap before, and now you walk through it untouched. That's when you'll know you've become your own weapon. If this message hit something deep in you, share your story below. I read every comment, and if you're ready to keep building your timeless Stoic mind, hit subscribe, because this isn't motivation, this is transformation.